Good morning. I'm Maria Monica L. Joven from Mapua University, home of the best engineers in the world, varying from different fields. Mapua University is the best engineering school in the Philippines, having produced more than 360 top-notchers across 11 of national professional licensure examinations since 2000. Today, I'm going to talk about our paper entitled Correlating Brain Dominance and Hand Preference to Academic Tracks, a case for senior high school students in the Philippines. Our study is centered on the 4 academic tracks in senior high school, namely STEM, ABM, Humes, and GAS. We are going to evaluate whether the scores of the respondents from these different strands correlate with their skill set. While the different academic programs all over the world help and guide students to their career paths, it is still a challenge of how precise these tend to be. To verify if their current strand is suitable for their skills and abilities, the study will utilize the theory of Roger Wolcott's Perry from his Nobel Prize-winning study in medicine in 1981 entitled Split Brain Experiments, where he discovered the functions of the left and the right side of the brain. He discovered the right side of the brain as the weaker and dyslexic side that lacks better cognitive understanding, prior to the dominant side, while the left side as being more into the analytical and verbal compounds of thinking. This study will also explore the correlation of hand preference to brain dominance. It is known from the theory that when a person is left-handed, it is lateral that their right brain side is dominant. Vice versa, when they are right-handed, their left brain side is dominant. With the knowledge of knowing which brain side is dominant, it can help assert future engineers in the world. As we all know, engineers are more into the logical and technical side, using the left side primarily to function. In a 2016 study, Kumar and Sharma related the brain dominance of a leader towards total quality management, or TQM, which has 2 distinctive results identified as continuous improvement and innovation. They explored the different characteristics of right and left brain leaders whose approach are different to the principles of TQM. It is seen that right-brained leaders were discovered to be more inclined to innovation than the left-brained who focuses more on continuous improvement. In the presentation, you can see the different characteristics that the left and the right brain hemisphere possess, so we can account the mathematical left hemisphere and the linguistic right hemisphere. Now, how to choose the right career? If a student wants to be an accountant or a lawyer, doctor, or specifically an engineer, what brain dominant side and hand preference must they obtain? The researchers use the HBDI to profile the respondents and investigate which is their dominant brain side. It is a 120-question survey form that articulates your thinking style and preference. The test is not to measure intelligence, thus, it dives into their preference, relying into real-life situations. Next, the presentation is showing the Slavens formula, which was used to compute the sample size. With a total size of 173 and a 10% margin of error, the sample size per strand is seen to be 91 for STEM, 42 for ABM, 26 for Humes, and 14 for GAS. The following histogram just shows the behavior of the different results from the respondents. We can see that in the STEM section, it is a higher left hemisphere side and lower scores for the right hemisphere. For the left-handed, the 70 to 80 range had a frequency of 7, while the right hemisphere had a score of 70 with most frequency of 15. The same behavior is shown in the ABM strand. Higher scores for the right-handed left hemisphere compared to the right-handed right hemisphere. The left-handed side with the left and right hemisphere also showed same results, though with fewer frequency due to smaller sample. The behavior in the Humes strand is opposite from the results of the ABM and the STEM strand. The behavior showed better frequency with the right hemisphere regardless of handedness, with better scores, and less scores for the left hemisphere, again regardless of handedness. The behavior in the GAS strand is seen to be inconsistent since it only had 14 respondents, and all of them are right-handed, thus showing no data for the left-handed preference. The summary of the results is seen in the presentation for both hand preference and dominant brain side. The STEM academic strand focuses on the fields of science, mathematics, and technology. The foundation of this strand is heavy on analysis, critical thinking, and mathematical computations. Those who choose this strand may enter careers in engineering, health, and medicine. It is seen that more STEM students with right-hand preference have higher scores on their left brain dominant side, corresponding to 84.42% for dominance on the left hemisphere and only 15.58% on the right side. The results of the overall STEM data justify the theory of lateralization of hand to dominant brain hemisphere and validated that the skill set of students enrolled in the STEM track is appropriate for those with a dominant left brain. Still, on the working theory, left-hand preference falls on the opposite of the STEM skill set, but it's seen that the theory of lateralization is still justified since majority of the left-handed students are dominant on their right brain side, with higher scores on the right hemisphere. Similarly, 57.14 proved the accounted theory of lateralization for left-handed. However, the students' skill set are not favorable to their chosen academic strap, as the right hemisphere is more focused on linguistic characteristics. Next, the ABM academic strand focuses on financial management, business management, and corporate operations. This track can lead students into a career of management and accounting. It features similarity to the STEM data, which suggests that ABM students have dominant scores on the left hemisphere. 78.38% of the respondents has left dominant brain side, which means that majority of them demonstrated the following characteristics, being analytical and logical. Interpretation of results for students with left-hand preference was hardly conclusive because only 5 students were found to be left-handed. The IEOM strand focuses on creative thinking, ideal for those who are artistic, creative, and imaginative. This track is suited for careers in journalism and communication arts. Overall, 65% of the group has a dominant right side of the brain, contrary to the brain lateralization theory of having a right-left-handedness dominant brain side. The results still prove that the majority of the students are on the right academic track. For students with left-hand preference, the result was somewhat inconclusive because only 6 were found to be left-handed. However, all 6 of them demonstrated dominance on the right side of the brain. The relationship of having left characteristics of the right hemisphere. Lastly, the gas strand. Gas is suited for students who are still undecided on which career to take. Students can choose electives from the different academic strands under this track, knowing that they are unaware of the skills that they possess and are still uncertain on the career path they would take. The results are equal for both brain hemisphere. There was an even distribution of brain dominance for this group, since of 12 or 50% of students have dominant left side and another 50% have a dominant right side. Finally, since all students were right-handed, interpretation for left-hand preference was not established. After getting the results, the group calculated the analysis of variance for all strands. The STEM strand had a p-value of 0.0000 for students with right-hand preference. The result is seen as highly significant. This result suggested that the theory of brain lateralization was proven. For the left-hand preference, it suggests that there is no significant relationship between the variables, thus accepting the null hypothesis. Students that have left-handedness would significantly have dominant right side of the brain, which is contradictory to what skill set their chosen track offers. The high p-value suggests that the students in STEM with left-handedness fall on the grounds of a sample size that have equivalent mean. This suggests that the right brain dominant and the left brain dominant STEM students have no statistical relationship and the results are highly different without either dominant brain side standing out. This may be because of the contradictions of those left-handed with also a left brain side that have skill set relative to STEM strand. The ABM students' results showed a p-value of 0.001, meaning that it is significant on the working theory. For ABM students with the left-hand preference, comparing the left and right hemisphere resulted to a p-value of 0.602. This means that the results obtained prove insignificance actually, to the theory of brain lateralization. On contrary, these students are seen to be unfit to their respective academic track and suggests that their skill set is mismatched. Next, for the IEOM strand, it showed a p-value of 0.192. This suggests that there is no significant difference between the two variables. The high p-value suggests that the connection between the means of the given data have no relationship to one another. Consequently, responses of left-handed students yielded a p-value of 0.006, which is less than the significant level of 0.05. The result shows high significant difference between the two means. Lastly, for gas, the p-value of 0.766 was computed for students who are right-handed and no students are left-handed. Students who are enrolled in this track are still undecided to which career they would like to pursue. In summary, a high p-value for this group suggests uncertainty in students' characteristics. The results can help students enhance their skill set and take up courses that will eventually fall on what dominant brain side they have. As a conclusion, the theory can serve as a guide in finding the suited profession that matches their mindset and that complement the skills they acquire. And understanding brain dominance and hand preference helps strengthen the chosen career of an individual. Again, the figures shown suggest how the working theory is proven in the case of the senior high school in Mapua University. It can help others see how they complement their skills or improve. It can also help shape the next and future students to tackle more into their strengths and adjust their characteristics if they will ever get a career in any respective fields. That ends our presentation. Thank you and good day.